Zensese TV. Nthawi yomwe timakhala kuyembekezera ija yakwana pomwe attorney general a Frank Mbeta akaonekera ku parliament ndipo amakhala akufunsidwa mafunso. Ndiye takhala ndipo mpa mumve zambiri mmene zinalili kumeneko.
Once again, welcome Honorable Attorney General to this inquiry. Basically, we would like to have an interface with you pertaining to proposed acquisition of Yusuf Investment Limited trading as Amaris Hotel by the Board of Public Service Pension Trust Fund. And maybe before we proceed, allow me to put it on record that we have media and all the proceedings are live.
In conclusion, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members, the Office of the Attorney General acted with diligence, transparency, and within its legal mandate. Upon receiving the complaint from the Malawi Society, we initiated an anti-corruption probe. And upon receiving the reports from SCB, as well as the Reserve Bank of Malawi, we issued a cautious, conditional legal guidance, explicitly directing the board to first address the serious prudential risks. We did not authorize the transaction. We merely facilitated a lawful process which the board was then obliged to execute responsibly within their fiduciary duties. My office remains committed to the rule of law and to providing sound legal advice to government institutions. I thank you all for your attention. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Attorney General, for that submission as one of the witnesses in the inquiry that Public Accounts Committee has been undertaking. Honourable members, allow me to open the floor for plenary. Those who want to take to the floor, kindly indicate so. I see Zomba Nsondole. I see Karabe Central. I see Lilongwe Chuamba. Blanta Chiromoni. Chikwawa West. Other members, let me guide in this way. I'll go by a member at a time, where after you ask your question, I'll give it to the Attorney General to respond. When the Attorney General has responded, then I'll go to the next honor member for a question. This is going to help us get responses from the Attorney General, and in that way also give him space to take more questions. So allow me to start with Zomba Msondole. Zomba Msondole, please.
Thank you, Chair, for giving Zomba Msondole a chance to ask the Attorney General. I have two questions. The first question is that I wanted the Attorney General to tell this committee when did he appointed as an Attorney General, and when did he start the work as an Attorney General of Malawi? The second question is, can he tell this committee when did he know about the purchase of the Amaris Hotel? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Zomba Msondole. Attorney General, you can take those two from Zomba Msondole. Over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Member from Zomba Msondole. I was appointed as Attorney General on 27th October 2025. And it was with immediate effect, so I immediately started discharging my duties. I only got to know about this particular transaction on 19th November 2025 when I received the letter from the Malno Society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nkatabe Central.
Thank you, Chair. Attorney General, good morning, sir. I have two questions. The first one is the pensions fund bought Sigerege Hotel before this transaction. They used the pension funds to buy Sigerege Hotel. Was the office involved, sir? That's the first question. The second question is several officers of the fund has appeared before this committee and other board members. We have a report that in March 2024, there was a meeting in Mzuzu called and chaired by the former Chief Secretary, Madam Colini Zamba. In that meeting, Madam Zamba issued a number of directives. Among them, one of them was that the sale transaction should be concluded with speed and be concluded within 30 days. There were reports emanating from that meeting. There are several other directives. Are you aware of that meeting, sir? And did you access that meeting? At those minutes, did you access? Thank you very much. Because they will very much help you. Did you access those minutes of the meeting, the meeting called by OPC then in Mzuzu in 6 March 2024, chaired by Madam Colini Zamba, instructing the fund to move with speed and conclude within 30 days. Did you access those minutes, sir? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nkatabe Central, our senior. Attorney General, you can take those questions from Nkatabe Central. Over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Member from Nkatabe Central. I do not have information on how Sigerege was purchased by the fund. And in my dealings...
Attorney General, can you switch off your mic? I just want to bring to your attention that the noise out there, other people or the newly elected MPs are taking their oath. So they've come with people from various constituencies. So those are Nyamata Molalo, Agunjaku. So those have nothing to do with this proceeding of our parliament. So, honourable members, I don't know if we need to proceed or ask our parliament to. But my direction, because of the noise, background noise, I would propose that we suspend for 5 or 10 minutes so that our security people can ask members that there is an equally important engagement because there's too much background noise from this room. Yeah. AG, I had requested you to pause when there was that too much background noise. So you can pick it up from where you stopped. You were responding to a question from Nkatabe Central. Over to you, AG.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. As regards the purchase of Sigerege Hotel by the pension fund, I'm meant to believe this happened prior to my appointment, so I do not have sufficient details. Therefore, I'm unable to say much, but to emphasize that not between 27th October 2025 and now, so I'm not much aware of what happened. The minutes of the meeting of March 2024, yes, I have seen them. I have gone through them, and indeed, I read in them that the Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Madam Zamba, chaired that meeting and also did give some directions to the members, the members of the fund, including indicating deadlines when certain things had to be done in respect to the purchase of Maris Hotel. That's how far I can say, because that's, my knowledge is purely based on the minutes. That's what I could say.
I see a hand from Katabe Central, but you may recall, Katabe Central, that in our engagements, background engagements on Wednesday, I was guided to make sure that each and every member is given a chance to ask questions. The more reason I had started it this way. When on Thursday I did the same, members also complained because there was a time people said that I'm dominating. I had to take a step back and I was accused. So I want every member to take it, to have a chance. Unless there's a burning one from you as a senior Katabe Central. You still feel it's too burning that you need to come in?
Yes, Chair.
Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair. The question about Sigirege Hotel was about the office. I know that it happened, it took place when we were not in the office. I know that. But the question was the office of the Attorney General involved? Not you as a person, but the office. That was the question. About the meeting in Mzuzu called by Madam Colini Zamba, the question was to ask you whether you have accessed the minutes, to which you have confirmed yes. Now, I want you, if possible, Chair, to read those minutes. It's one page. Read the minutes for the benefit of the committee and the entire nation. Read the minutes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Katabe Central. You may recall on Thursday in the evening, Blanta Chiromoni Nancholi had to go through the minutes. You want the AG to read again?
Yes.
Is this a general feeling of the committee?
Yeah. He's reading to the nation now. We're talking to the nation. Read the minutes. Don't be defensive. Read the minutes of that meeting. It's one page.
Attorney General, kindly go through the minutes that you have. Over to you.
Honorable Chair, it's actually 4 pages. Can I be guided which specific part? Is it the last part where the action plans or? Oh, okay. So these minutes were for the meeting that was held on 6th March 2024, and the present were Ms. Colleen Zamba as Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Mr. Pris Kabondangaga as Chief of Staff at State Residences, Mr. Kizaso Nyirongo, Director of Legal Affairs OPC, Mr. Boyd Hamela, Chairperson, Investment PSPT, and Mr. George M. Jim as Principal Officer. Let me start with action point number 1, which is under paragraph 3. So action 1 says, the fund was notified that soon it will be invited for the PSC's meeting to present the overview, so the fund must be ready. Action 2, the fund was advised to reach out to the SPC on the challenges the fund indicated, which included the delayed remittances, data disparities, the issue of past service liabilities, and non-submission of beneficiary nomination forms. Under 4, which was governance of the fund, action number 1, OPC suggested that a person from the OPC should be a trustee for easy flow of information of the fund's developments to the SPC. It was mentioned that DHRMD which is a department under OPC, is represented. Action 2, OPC advised that the replacement of Trustee Kahaki Jere, who was from the Ministry of Justice, should be through the OPC so they can play a role in scouting the replacement. And item number 5, which is status of investment of the fund. Action 1, the OPC instructed the fund to move with speed in concluding the Amaris transaction before the end of March 2024. Action 2, the threats for lawsuits are coming in because of the pressure the seller is getting from the lenders. To query the pressure, the fund was advised to write and give the seller the comfort letter by Thursday, 7th March 2024. Action 3, the fund to submit a workable action plan by Friday, 8th March 2024 to the OPC for their ease of follow-up. Action 4, being that the issues has raised the highest office, the fund was advised to report on weekly basis the progress made in this transaction. Make communication to the Director of Legal Services, Mr. Chizaso Nyirongo. Action 5, the fund to engage the next investment manager on the Amaris completion by 8th March 2024. Under conclusion and way forward, I think there's what they labeled as action plan for the critical issues, 6th March 2024. Number 1, communication on the replacement of the trustee that left to replace with OPC nominee. The status, communication that was sent to be addressed to the OPC. 2, conclusion of Amaris transaction with March, timelines 1 month, and status, the issue requires board decision. 3, submission of comfort letter to the seller, timelines 3 days. 4, fund to submit the action plan to OPC on 8th March 2024, timelines 5 days. 5, resuscitating the engagement with the next investment manager on Amaris within a month. I suppose, Chair, that's what I could read from this report, and perhaps just to also emphasize that I have not, in my time in office of the Attorney General, I have not come across any documentation that shows that the Office of the Attorney General was involved in the purchase of Sigerege Hotel. Thank you.
Katabe Central, are you okay?
Very much, Chair. Perhaps the last question would be, there's a mention there of weekly reports to OPC since the matters have reached the highest office. The one chairing that meeting was the SPC, the Secretary of the President and the Cabinet. And the reports are saying the matters have reached the highest office. Beyond OPC, how do you define the highest office? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, our senior Katabe Central. Attorney General, you may take that one. As you take that one, you've also gone through a submission or a recommendation that sale was supposed to be concluded within 1 month. But this sale was concluded on 17th November 2025. In your view, was that directive followed? Over to you, Controlling Officer.
I can only think that perhaps the highest office could have been that of the President, considering that it was the Secretary to President and Cabinet. But usually I take it that documents speak for themselves. So this is me just thinking, but otherwise the document does not mention the Office of the President. Yes, the document also shows that this transaction had to be concluded within March 2024. And indeed, the sale agreement that I saw was concluded in November 2025. Suffice to say that the only thread that I am able to connect is the fact that those minutes were mandating Mr. Chizaso Nyirongo to be in contact with the fund. And from the minutes, at that time he wasn't a member of the fund. He was director of legal at OPC. But at the time of conclusion of the sale agreement, he was the chairperson of the fund. So I'm not sure whether I could say with certainty that that directive was followed to the letter, or maybe it just dragged on to where finally the chairperson of the fund and other trustees concluded the transaction.
Thank you so much, AG. Can we go to Lilongwe Chiwamba? Lilongwe Chiwamba, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Allow Lilongwe Chiwamba to ask only 2 questions. AG, you wrote a letter on 28th December 2025. What exactly did you advise the fund? Secondly, AG, were you aware that asset finance managers advised the experts, provided expert advice on the same issue? Thank you.
AG, can you take care of those 2 from Lilongwe Chiwamba? Over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Member from Lilongwe Chiwamba. My advice to the fund was simple and straightforward. Attend to all the prudential risks, review them, find mitigating as well as management, ways of managing those issues. And this is coming from a background that transactions do normally carry risks, but that's where those making decisions must look into those risks and see whether they are mitigatable or manageable and take a decision. So that's what I did advise the fund. And of course, only to proceed with the transaction if they are satisfied that they've addressed those prudential issues. Yes, I saw some documents that showed that asset finance managers were involved in the transactions. Actually, I saw documents from FTH that were done on behalf of NICO. And I also saw documents from Continental Asset Management Limited. And of course, the last one was from EMJ Advisory. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Attorney General. Can we go to Blanta Chiromoni?
Thank you so much, Chair. Permission to interrogate the AG for about 5 minutes.
Since we already said the precedents, and I've always been giving you such a request, and it has always been granted. So permission granted. AG, what will happen? I'll not interrupt. All I'll do, I'll give to Blanta Chilomoni Nancholi Kabula constituency. As soon as he switches off his mic, then you can switch on your mic. Immediately you're done, kindly switch off your mic. Then Blanta Chilomoni Kabula Nancholi will come in and will proceed in that way. Over to you, Blanta Chilomoni.
Chair, I'm going to quote the submission by the Attorney General, where he says on the page 2, we go straight to the text of the advice. where he says, in my letter to Malawi Law Society on the 28th December 2025, copied to the fund, I stated, and I quote, and the following is the quote, in view of the magnitude of the transaction in this matter, and indeed out of abundance of caution, and in order to ensure that members' savings are protected within the prudent investment principles of the regulatory requirement, and the board is advised to once again review the attendant risks and satisfy itself with available mechanisms for the management or mitigation thereof. Once this is done, the board is advised to proceed and conclude the transaction in the best interest of the fund and its members. In this letter, why did you say that once the issues are fixed, then the board should proceed and not may proceed?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honorable Blanta Chilomoni. To begin with, the fund is founded on a trust deed, and that trust deed vests the power to invest in the trustees, and actually they have absolute discretion. So I was mindful that already the power to proceed or not to proceed is in their hands. So I needed not appear as if I'm restricting them on the powers that they have been granted absolutely by the trust deed. That is the reason why I was merely giving them the very thing that they already have. Thank you.
In your opinion, Attorney General, was the transaction conducted in accordance with the laws of Malawi, specifically the Trustees Act and the Pensions Act?
Through the Chair and Honourable Member, the compliance with, say, the Pensions Act, the regulatory framework, including directives from the Registrar of Financial Institutions, the Governor, those were some of the issues which were raised. The prudential element of it included certain things, for instance, on concentration lists. Those come under directives from the Registrar of Financial Institutions. So those were some of the issues which they needed to attend to. So there were such issues that if they were attended to, they would have resolved the element of compliance and therefore they could proceed. So if they did not attend to those issues, at the time when they finally made payments, they would not have complied because they were issues that were actually highlighted. That's why my emphasis was, can you attend to these issues? That was, in a way, telling them that make sure that even the other regulatory issues that have been raised, which are legal in nature, must be complied with. Thank you.
In your submission, you actually indicated that the final decision maker, in any case, according to the trust deed, are the trustees, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Why do you think, in your opinion, therefore, that there was political interference between March 2024 and September 2025, specifically where Colin Zamba had the power to instruct the board or the pension fund what to do? Do you think that anyone else other than the trustees has that power, or Colin Zamba was acting at reverse or outside the power?
Through you, Chair, I've looked at the trust deed establishing the fund. There is nowhere where the office of the Secretary to President Cabinet is specifically mentioned. So again, if I were to look at whether she had powers, maybe to give directions like she did, at the very least, I would say that's not founded in the trust deed. Those powers are not granted to her. And like I've already said, the powers are vested in the trustees, and they have actually been given absolute discretion to decide on what to invest in. Thank you.
In your submission, you explained that you toed the same line with the Anti-Corruption Bureau in coming up with your opinion, because the Anti-Corruption Bureau never found any corrupt activities in the process. Do you think that basing your opinion on the Anti-Corruption Bureau in this case was the best decision you could do as the Attorney General? And I'm asking this because, assuming that the Anti-Corruption Bureau has missed something, don't you think that then, in that case, your decision will also be compromised because you have based your decision on some other office and not your own independent decision?
Through the Chair, to begin with, the Office of the Attorney General is not an interrogator, it's not an investigator. So that's the reason why when I received that complaint from the Mar Law Society, I referred it to the Anti-Corruption Bureau, because they have the capacity to investigate matters to do with corruption or fraud. So there is a presumption of legality that when one thing moves from one properly established office to another, unless something clearly appears to be wrong, you can't just assume that they haven't done the right thing. So the office that's mandated to deal with matters of corruption in Malawi is that of the Anti-Corruption Bureau. So I trusted in their opinion because they are the ones that have got the capacity to investigate. So in my view, remember I said as a legal advisor, you base on facts presented to you. You don't create your own facts. So the fact remains that in their report, the Anti-Corruption Bureau clearly indicated that they did not find any evidence that suggested that there was corruption. So I believe that my opinion was not in any way compromised because of the regularity principle that I had to use under the circumstances.
Two more questions. I think you are holding an office, but you are also a human being and an individual, such that most of the times it's also good to go beyond just the office. As an individual, Mr. Frank Mbeta, the value of the hotel from 30 billion to 47 billion, then to 128 billion, then to 145 billion. You didn't smell any collusion, any corruption in this change of price within 1 year as an individual, not as the Attorney General.
Chair, I'll be quite reluctant to answer, but nevertheless I'll take it because I did undertake this exercise in my official capacity. However, the movement in the prices, I did actually, yes, say there's significant movement, but in my letter to the Law Society I said it would be difficult for me to fault the pricing because that pricing was done by experts that do the pricing. I personally wouldn't want, and again, with my background as a lawyer, I know that when you're dealing with expert evidence, you really need to have a compilator. You don't just go and begin faulting expert evidence because you would have, as a person, thought maybe it should be done in this way. You normally would want to go to another expert and say, what are we saying here? But that wasn't within the framework of what I could have done. But in addition to that, when you look at some of the prudential risks that the Reserve Bank had raised, they had to do with the price. So when we were saying, can you attend to these issues? We were essentially saying, look at everything holistically and be sure of what decision you are taking as fiduciary persons. So yes, the movement could have raised eyebrows, but corruption is something that ought to be proved, or at least there must be clear indicator that, or something at least that you can clearly say this points at corruption. So coming from a point where the Anti-Corruption Bureau said we haven't seen any elements of corruption, I didn't really find it as an issue on its own. But also to mention that, in my view, overpricing is not equal to corruption. The hotel may have been overpriced, but of course I don't have the expertise to be able to speak to that clearly. However, there ought to have been some indicators that would actually make you think that there's corruption. So I wasn't able to form that opinion for fear that this is something that was coming from expert assessments. And most importantly, you have the trustees that must actually look into the pricing issue. And also because they negotiated for the price. What were they negotiating for? What were the parameters that they could have used? So remember, that's in their absolute discretion. So I had to stick to my limits. Thank you.
Finally, Chair, what do you think?
Honourable members, I'll give you a chance. Don't worry. Let us allow Blantyre Chiromoni to finish, then I'll get to you. You can formulate substantive questions. Each and every member will be given space to ask. Blantyre Chiromoni, kindly proceed.
I think what's coming out very, very clear is the fact that all the powers to make investment in terms of the pension fund rests with the trustees. That's coming out very clear. And when I asked you about the increase in price, you said the increment in price does not really indicate that there's an element of corruption, but can also indicate that there is very high element of corruption. In your opinion, Attorney General, what do you think is the value of Amaryllis Hotel? That's my last question. Thank you, Chair.
Through you, Chair, I don't think I know, or I'm in a position to say what value the hotel could be, because I'm aware that valuations of businesses that are actually running take so many parameters. So I don't think I would be in a position to say how much it's worth. Thank you.